YouTube, how you doing? Rod from the UK here, and today I thought I'd give you my thoughts on Lacoste pour homme. It's an EDT, and I think it's a really good value fragrance. If you had seen my collection video, you would have noticed that the majority of my fragrances I have at the moment aren't designer fragrances. I used to have a lot of designer fragrances in the past, but now they sort of make up the minority. And this fragrance here it's actually one of my favorites, but not just amongst the designer fragrances I have at the moment, but across the whole collection actually. So this is the box. I do like to keep the boxes. I don't know, I think it's all about the whole complete package to me. So this is the box. Lacoste pour homme, nice grey and silver mixture. You got the crocodile at the top there. And it's pretty standard, nothing really to talk about in terms of the box. This is the 30 ml size. I actually think that the 100 ml bottle looks much better than this, but I went for a smaller size. Quite simple. The cap is got a sort of like triangular pattern on here, there's a bit of texture there. And then of course you've got the Lacoste crocodile at the top. Pretty simple packaging. Sprayer works pretty well, so you've got no complaints there. In terms of top notes, you're getting grapefruit, apple and plum. In the heart you've got juniper berries, pink peppercorn, cinnamon and cardamom, and in the base you're getting rum, sandalwood, cedarwood, vanilla and musk. So those are the sort of listed notes you're getting there in the breakdown. I'll give you my thoughts in a minute on what I think, what I get from the fragrance. As I said, this is a really good value fragrance. In terms of the 100 ml, you could shop around. You could get this for pretty cheap if you shop around. But the best price I saw after doing just like a quick search online was about £40 for 100 ml, and around the £20 mark, £22 for this one. I actually got this for much cheaper than that, so I was quite lucky on that front. So in terms of my view of the fragrance, I'm going to start off by saying actually that I've been wearing this fragrance in the winter, in the spring, and now coming into summer. We've had a couple of hot days in the UK, nothing too much, but in terms of when you can wear this, what time of the year, I honestly think this is a year-round fragrance. It had a potency which worked well in the winter, and I think there's a combination of notes in here which also make it perfect for the summer. So in the top I get a kind of a citrus note in there. It's grapefruit. It's nothing too loud, it's quite faint to be honest. It's really taken over by two notes which I would describe as slightly synthetic. I think there are some synthetic ingredients in this fragrance. That doesn't make it bad, it just doesn't make it sort of anything outstanding. You get a sort of an apple note, and you get a sort of, people call it plum, or plum is in the breakdown. I don't necessarily get plum, but I get a warm sort of dessert type of smell, a kind of apple pie almost, you could say. But it's nothing really sort of identical to that scent. It is a sort of interpretation, if you like. It is synthetic, and yeah, you get apple in there, but it's it's nothing too natural, but it's nice. It's a really nice opening to the scent, and it's very sort of almost sweet. It's a top note which I really enjoy, and it's not just a top note which is you're getting in the initial blast, but it sort of carries its way throughout the whole fragrance, and sort of lasts in the middle and in the base as well. The middle notes is actually the area where I find this fragrance is disappoints me the most. Yes, you're getting a spice element in there, but it's nothing really. You can't really I can't distinguish from one spice to the other. Nothing is in there, in more concentration than the other. It's a kind of sort of blend of spices which you can't really pick out. For me, I can't really pick out, yes, this is pepper, this is cinnamon. If it's going to be anything, it's probably going to be cinnamon, because it has that sweetness to it in there as well. And then I mentioned this dessert smell in the top, and that sort of fades away during the top, and then you get this sort of like amalgam of spices, and then it sort of comes alive again in the base, which is kind of interesting. In the base, I'm getting a sort of alcohol scent. I mentioned desserts in the top note, and then if anybody's tried tiramisu, which is basically like a dessert, or if you've tried some sort of, I don't know, like a kirsch-based, plum-based dessert, that's kind of what you're getting in the base notes here. You know, they have rum down in here, but honestly, I can't pick up rum. I've done a review on Idole de Lubin by the House of Lubin, where you're getting an absolutely insane blast of rum in the top notes, and that's what I associate rum to be. Not really this. This is sort of like almost a mulled wine sort of scent. Yeah, it kind of is like a mulled wine scent. If you imagine all the spices, the cinnamon. They have juniper berries in here, which is something which I could be smelling, but I don't really know too much about juniper berries or the scent of juniper. So that could be in there in the base. That is possibly what I'm picking up now. And it continues with this dessert scent with a sort of slight vanilla in there. It's not the greatest vanilla I've ever smelt. This is Lacoste. I don't really like anything else from Lacoste apart from this one. This really stands out for me from the line. And so you continue with that sweetness. There's a touch of spice in there. It starts to warm up and starts to become quite masculine and sensual with the alcohol scent in there as well. And I get a slight woodiness, which rounds off the scent actually really nicely. It's kind of a really good addition actually, because this has this fragrance without any sort of sandalwood, without any musk. It would have just become too sweet, potentially quite feminine, I think. And it's definitely a good addition for sandalwood and musk to be thrown in there as well. I think this is a really good fragrance, very, very versatile. As I said, I used it all year round, and I think you could wear it in all occasions actually. And I would definitely recommend this fragrance as just a great fragrance to have in your collection. If you're a collector of fragrances, this is definitely one I think you should have. I'm personally not a collector. I just like to buy fragrances which I like, and whether they're fashionable or whether they're new to the market, I don't really mind, don't really care. So I was really surprised by Lacoste and this particular fragrance, and I'm going to give it a rating of, I'm going to go with 7.5. It could have been a little bit more, but you know, as I mentioned, there's synthetic notes in there which are kind of okay, but it's not really pushing the boundaries as such. And synthetic, you know, really to me means it's like an interpretation of a scent. It's not necessarily bang on apple, it's not exactly the best vanilla you're going to find, but it's sort of like a chemical creation which, you know, is vaguely similar to the scent. I also actually, one thing I forgot to mention, in towards the middle of the note, I get a nice green accord as well. I've read that it's fern, but again, you know, this is not necessarily going to be identical to fern as you're getting in nature, but it's, again, you know, Lacoste interpretation of a green note. So overall, a really good fragrance. Yeah, nothing too much more to add on that. Longevity wise, I get, oh yeah, actually longevity, that's quite a good issue. It's quite a good point, because I get great longevity with this. I counted yesterday I wore this, I counted 7+ hours. Towards the 8th and the 9th it was starting to become quite, you know, not really too noticeable. But there are times where I spray this on in the evening and the following day I can still smell this on my arm, or generally the chest area is the best place I find to apply fragrances. Fragrance develops the most with your body heat on your chest. So if you're going to spray to the chest, I think this probably works best sprayed there. So that's my take on Lacoste Pour Homme, a fragrance which really took me by surprise, and I would definitely recommend this highly. 7.5 rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.